When the league's weather turns, real front offices stop admiring scenarios and start building lanes. I'm locking you in from the first second with what matters and what moves. Why tonight's chatter around Los Angeles has switched from noise to notes. How this front office can thread the second apron needle with grown-up structure. Which timelines are actually live. What I'm hearing about priorities on wings and size. And how a familiar skill set slides into our closing lineups without asking LeBron James or Anthony Davis to carry two jobs. I'll keep the center of the story where it belongs while we walk. Because the reveal only lands when the logic is airtight. First the map, then the name, then the why dots start on the floor, not on the phone. The Lakers still win when they own the paint, the whistle, and the second chance. That's our math. But the West has gotten bigger on the wing and smarter about junking up late possessions. When the game slows, we ask LeBron to organize every action and Anthony Davis to be screened, scorer, and stopper, three jobs disguised as one. That strain shows on the hard nights. What the roster needs is a two-way forward who doesn't eat dribbles, who can defend up and down, who can rebound his position, who runs the corners and cuts the creases, and gives our stars a pressure valve without stealing oxygen. Not a savior. A multiplier. A player who understands our building, our city, our spotlight, and has already learned the old lesson here. When you share the stage, your star grows, not shrinks. Zoom out to the rules. The second apron isn't a rumor, it's a cage. You can't spray contracts together and hope the math forgives you. You can't take back more money than you send. Mid-tiers matter again. Non-toxic years matter again. Optionality is currency. That's why the front office has been quiet about the big-name noise and loud about the boring work. Stacking tradable deals that don't poison themselves. Keeping real first-round equity pointed to the post-LeBron window so the other side sees upside. And developing young pieces the league actually wants instead of imagined value. If you feel the tempo rising in the building, it's because those blocks are finally aligned enough to support a real pivot without burning the core. Now the basketball fit. Picture a normal January grind at Crypto.com Arena. The opponent switches to take away our first read. LeBron reads the scram. AD rescreens. The shell is tight. Too often that used to become a tough pull-up or a late clock scramble. Insert a 6'9" wing who can ghost a screen into space, catch on the move, fire without a hitch, and punish a small on the glass when the shot misses. Insert a forward who can guard size at the 4, chase at the 3, and live through playoff contact without fouling out of the moment. Insert a starter who understands how to be a finisher next to top 5 usage and still manufacture 12 clean points from cuts, leak-outs, and second efforts. That's the type. That's the fix that doesn't change who we are. It sharpens who we are. Keep your eye on late-game geometry, because that's where banners are born. Closing groups thrive on certainty. With LeBron directing, Davis toggling between lob target and short roll creator, and a wing who shoots at volume and rebounds like a big, you force the defense into a choice it hates. Send 2 to the ball and it's a corner 3. Stay home on shooters and it's a slip dunk. Switch a guard onto our new forward and it's a seal and a layup or a kick out with feet set. The plan isn't to add another mouth to feed. It's to remove empty possessions from the film. Fewer prayers, more layups, fewer long rebounds going the other way, more free throws when the whistle tightens. I see the same thing in transition. We have one of the league's best bigs at outrunning opposing fives and a 20-year vet who still throws hit-ahead lasers that break cameras. The missing piece is the wing who turns those hit-aheads into automatic 2-on-1 reads, sprint to the logo, flatten the weak side, drag a defender to the corner. Cut on the flight. That's not highlight hunger. That's floor balance. It makes our defense better because our offense finishes possessions the right way. And it makes your shooters happier because they touch the ball in rhythm instead of in rescue. Mid-video. Ride with me. If you live this team like I do, lock the sub and toggle alerts. When the calendar flips to decision weeks, I'll keep the noise off the screen and the details on it dot back to the board. There are two paths when you chase the right forward. In the patient path, you line up matching salary in tidy mid-tiers. Tuck your picks and swaps where a seller feels them. And let the market come to you when somebody's season sours and the phone rings with more honesty than hype. In the fast path, you admit a narrow winter window can open if three conditions collide at once. A team with a wing to move decides to reset. The player is ready for a bigger stage, and a third team can help root money without anyone violating the new math. Both paths keep Anthony Davis central. Both paths keep the shooter core intact enough to maintain oxygen. Both paths protect a locker room that's been healthier when roles are clean. Culture matters as much as cap. This building rewards players who lean into clarity. Our best additions over the years aren't the loudest. They're the ones who understood what the jersey asks and what the city expects. You want a forward who already knows where to stand when LeBron's his shoulder. Who knows when a D wants the ball early and when he wants it late. Who recognizes when a corner three is the right answer and when a back cut turns the same possession into a dunk with a foul. You want a forward who doesn't crumble when the fourth row is a wall of phones and the second apron makes every mistake feel heavier. You want someone who's been here and left better and who can come back better still. Here's why the timing feels alive. Across the league, more teams are choosing clarity over drift. A player on a medium bid number who scores, rebounds, and can carry usage in bursts is exactly the profile that becomes available when a club moves from maybe to time to pick a lane. The Lakers are perfectly built to be the adult in that conversation. We can offer a path to winning, an offense that actually uses wing scoring instead of parking it, and a market that turns good nights into momentum without needing a nightly 30. This isn't about star chasing for a press release. It's about roll gravity that lightens the load on our pillars and hard codes. The right shots into our diet dot. Now I land the name because the structure can hold it. Kyle Kuzma. Read that again, not as a flashback, but as a blueprint. A forward who learned our building the hard way. Left to find his game, grew into a 20-plus scorer. Expanded his playmaking, kept rebounding as a habit, and never lost the catch-and-shoot trigger you need next to stars. A player who understands how to play off LeBron without becoming a bystander. Who respects a D possessions by creating space and crashing when the shot goes up. Who can guard across lineups without losing his legs in May. That is the profile. That is the fit. And that is why tonight's whispers feel more like planning than nostalgia. I'm not selling fairy tales. I'm showing you how it works if it works. Matching salary exists in our mid-tier bucket. Draft capital exists with real teeth if you time it to the years after LeBron tapers his load. A third team can be folded in to root a contract or convert value into picks that satisfy a seller looking at the medium term. On Kuzma's side, the appeal is adult, clarity of role, nightly national stage, a familiar locker room, and a too-big ecosystem that turns his best habits running, cutting, rebounding, catch, and shoot into high-leverage outcomes. On our side, the benefit is simple math. Another double-digit scorer who doesn't demand touches to reach double digits. Another large wing who trims opponent runs by ending possessions on the glass. Another player who can survive a 7-game series by winning the gray possessions between the highlights. Let's talk closing time because that's when your heart rate spikes. LeBron at the top, AD as the screener, Austin Reeves spacing high slot, a shooter in the weak side corner, Kuzma as the ghost and crash forward. If the defense shows 2 to the ball, Kuz slips and it's a pocket pass into a floater or kick out. If they switch small onto him, it's a deep seal and free throws. If they stay home, LeBron walks into a paint touch and the first read is the rim. Swap the shooter out for a defensive specialist and you still keep structure because Kuzma can be the spacer who punishes short closeouts with a straight line drive. The point isn't that he becomes the closer. The point is that our closers become harder to guard because one more decision maker Lives in a 6-9 frame that doesn't blink. Defense travels in May, so look there too. Kuzma's best Lakers stretches came when he accepted ugly jobs: chase, bump, tag, rebound. The version we be getting now has more weight, more craft, and more film under his belt. Ask him to switch across wings, to body power forwards in short stints, to survive as the low man tagger, and then finish the possession on the glass, and he's in his lane. It's not about highlight blocks. It's about ending a possession at 0:14 of the clock and turning it into a 0:10. Advantage the other way. That's how you steal a game on the road. I know what some of you are thinking. Does bringing back a familiar face create old expectations? Only if you invite them. The strength of this version of the Lakers is that we know who we are when we're right. We don't need Kuzma to self-create every trip. We need him to turn our good possessions into great ones and our messy possessions into survivable ones. We need him to let LeBron pick his spots and let a D carry the right load instead of all of it. We need him to take the third defender's eyes for a half beat so Reeves can snake a dribble and hit that middle floater we love. That's not nostalgia. That's design. If you're tracking the cap along with me, the message is discipline. You don't make this move by torching your depth chart or mortgaging every future year. You aim your best pick equity at seasons that will matter to a seller. You keep enough rotation salary to remain flexible next summer. You protect the pillars. You tell the truth inside the locker room. Roles won't shrink, they'll sharpen. And you present Kuzma with what this city always presents when it's serious purpose and pressure framed as opportunity. Not wait. Midway reminder from my people. If this breakdown is giving you clarity instead of noise, like the video and subscribe now. The moment anything concrete shifts from exploratory to executable, you'll get it here first. With the basketball and the business laid out side by side. Now the clean assessment. With the lights bright and no music under it. The Lakers are positioned to make a real legal basketball sound run at Kyle Kuzma without breaking their core. The why is stronger than the nostalgia. Size on the wing, rebounding secured, shot diet simplified, late game certainty improved, and a player who already reads LeBron and Davis without subtitles. The risk is the cost of doing serious business in a second apron league. You will feel the outgoing value, and you will have to live with fewer cute tricks later. The reward is the thing that actually moves banners. Your best players spend April and May doing the jobs they were built to do, not plugging every hole on the boat. I'll land it like a pro. Tonight's story isn't a jersey swap fantasy. It's a blueprint you can trace in ink. If the market opens the lane we think it will, the Lakers can drive it without swerving. If it doesn't, you pivot, keep the mid-tiers movable, add shooting on the margins, and wait for the same clarity to hit later. That's not patience for patience's sake. That's how adult teams win in this CBA. Your turn, Lakers Nation, sound off below. Do you want the front office to push on this Kuzma? Lane now and pay the right price for a wing who cleans up our shot quality and closes games with force? Or would you rather hold the capital for a different star profile later and trust continuity to carry us through April? Drop your take. Be specific. Tell me your package. Tell me your red lines. I'm in there with you reading every comment. Like the video if it brought you closer to the real board. Subscribe for the updates the moment they're real. And keep your alerts on so you don't miss the pivot if the window turns from talk to timeline.